talk about the student loan crisis, right? You highlighted it. Nearly 45 million students are coming out of college with that debt. I think on average, $40,000 worth of debt per graduating student. And on top of that, the overall debt for the student market is about $1.5 trillion. You talked about how much has grown in the past few years. To put into perspective, it was only about 340 billion dollars back 15 years ago, and today it's nearly 1.5 trillion. That's a 500% increase. And like you said, there's a lot of reasons behind it, but what is the finance really doing for these graduated students to help them restructure or refinance their existing debt? Talking about $40,000 out the gate when you're trying to get your life started, that's more than just the anchor holding you down.
Yeah, it's like probably the biggest gorilla that's on your back that you have to carry, through your starting your career. What the finance does is, in many ways, very simple. We refinance the student loan, which means we pay it off. When you work with us, you go through our process, get approved. We would pay off your student debt. So number one, that debt is removed from your credit report, which means that there should be a positive impact on your credit score, right? If you're considering buying a house or doing something else like that, it should improve your debt to income ratio. So you should become a better candidate and hopefully even get better rates to do that. So that's one huge benefit right off the bat. The secondarily, what we do is because we are using an income share agreement, the payment that you have, it's tied to your income. So it's always affordable. Now we have an algorithm that we've built, and we use that algorithm to determine what that income share percentage is at the beginning. But once we do that, and once our customer agrees to it, then that is fixed. So the income share agreement could be from 5 to 15 years. But during that time period, the customer knows that I am sharing X percentage of income. It could be 5, 7, whatever percentage it is. But what that allows you to do is, you always know that this is what it's going to be going for this particular obligation, and you can always budget around that, right? From my perspective and our perspective, it's about financial freedom, right? No longer is debt there, so that if something bad happens in life, yeah, maybe that debt payment is affordable today, but if I lose my job, what happens? The payment's not going to go away, right? But with income share agreement, it does stop. That's the beauty of it, because well, number one is tied to income. So if your income is going down, payment comes down because it's a percentage of income. But in our program, if your income goes below $25,000, then we automatically pause payments. It's not like federal student loans where you have to go apply for deferrals and forbearance and all those things. This is just your income drops below 25,000, automatically payments are paused, where a lender would be doing what, right? Because if you don't have income, most likely you can't afford to make a payment, which means then you're having late payments, which are reported to credit, right? Late fees are charged. If it goes long enough, you go into default proceedings. You may end up in default, which again is a huge impact on your credit, right? So all of these things are happening. And even if you don't go into default, they give you forbearance or whatever, interest is piling up. So your balance is growing even while this situation is going on. And that's what I kind of hate about debt, right? Because it takes advantage of people when they're in their worst position financially. And that's when we should be helping them the most, not taking advantage of their financial position. And that's what the ISA does. So in that situation, what we're doing then is we have a resources marketplace, which is the next benefit, where we actually will help people find a job. So we have career resources, career counselors, job boards, all kinds of other resources, recruiters, upskilling resources, et cetera, to help them. And other things like mental health counseling, wellness resources, credit, financial tools and tips, investments, etc. Because all those things also impact career. And we want to make sure, because we've invested in people, that we're always there with them in their worst of times, but also during their normal course of time. Because if they do better, we make more money too, because we're still sharing the same percentage of income.
Absolutely. And I think that's the key that so many people need to realize with this alternative solution is that it's supposed to be a win-win situation, right? Somebody at the finance is not going to simply create an income sharing agreement that's going to put somebody's financial status at risk. They want to make sure that if a student or an individual that is not being able to, let's say, make amend or make up to their living standards, say, for example, 30, 40,000, whatever the minimum requirement is where you live, then Farouk and his team will actually step in and provide you with those resources to find help, right? He said at $25,000 is the threshold that they have. Especially right now in COVID, you're looking at a lot of young students who just left college are having a very, very difficult time to not only get placed in jobs, but are also being actively tossed around between different landing opportunities.